So back in 2020, during the last serious relationship that I was in, I ended up getting cheated on. The relationship was okay to like the world standards. For the most of it, it was like 8 months long. We were degenerates. We were going out and getting drunk all the time. We were both in like the frat/sorority life. Our entire relationship revolved around being screw-offs, drinking, fornicating, going to parties, effing around, basically. But initially, she was very attracted to me. And I started to realize over the course of the relationship that she became less and less attracted to me as I became more and more like emotional. This girl was like hounding me.
Open up more, tell me more about your past. Like, you never tell me anything. I wish you would cry more in front of me.
And I didn't know what the hell I was doing, so I started doing those things. And then she lost attraction for me. Of course, this girl didn't like cut things off with me. She took the approach of making the relationship as insufferable as possible for me to be in, to where I finally decided I can't do this anymore. Like all of a sudden, she was going on girls' nights out and going on these weekend trips and posting a lot on social media, all out of nowhere. And I didn't know anything. I'm like,
why the hell is this girl all of a sudden like a social media influencer? What the heck is going on?
This caused a lot of arguments towards the end of the relationship. I finally ended up saying enough is enough, and I cut her off. And bro, I kid you not, 4 hours after I broke up with her, I get this Snapchat from one of my buddies. And it says, "Hey bro, what happened with you and your girlfriend?" And I'm thinking to myself,
dude, how does he already know? We literally broke up 4 hours ago.
And he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm at this bar and I saw her walk in with this dude and it wasn't you." And it confused me. So I thought I'd reach out and see what's up. The way that I felt in that moment, I couldn't even put into words. It's like somebody like literally stabbed me in the heart. The most gut-wrenching pain and overwhelming feeling of anxiety just exploded inside of myself. And dude, I lost it. I remember just like crying and crying and crying and being so pissed off and like lost. Like that was rock bottom for me by far. And at the time, I had absolutely no idea what I did wrong or what I had done to deserve that. Now, fast forward 6 months, I ended up graduating from college. I started working, and I actually ended up getting this online job where I could basically work from home and do my work, but also watch a ton of YouTube videos while I was doing it. This was all by God, but I remember going down this YouTube rabbit trail where I started finding guys like Hamza and old David Hammond and Casey Zander and Andrew Tate and all these like red pill YouTubers. And they were talking about all these concepts that I'd never heard before, like masculinity and femininity and polarity within a relationship and how you should actually treat women and how you should not be as emotional and open up as much. And they're like just shedding all this, like what I thought was wisdom at the time. And I'm just eating it up. Like I'm binging video after video after video. I'd probably watch like 10 to 20 YouTube videos per day about dating and relationships. And I was like,
dude, this makes sense why this girl left me. I was being a total emotional lesbian soy boy and she lost respect for me and she left me. That's what happened.
And so I'm thinking that I'm coming to all these unbelievable revelations in my life and all the dots are connecting and it's all making sense. And I'm thinking to myself that I've got it all figured out. These red pill YouTubers are literally like Jesus. And I'm reading the Bible of dating. And I finally understand how to attract a woman and how to keep her attracted to me. And of course, some of the advice that these guys are giving me,
don't be emotional. Don't tell her how you feel about her. Never open up ever. Don't even like date her or allow her to lock you down. You gotta have multiple options and always be spinning as many plates as possible. Like just be basically a douchebag playboy. And your life's gonna be great. It's gonna be super fulfilling.
And so I basically became brainwashed by these red pill YouTubers and I started acting differently, talking to women differently, texting differently. Every like date that I went on from that point forward was different. I was very quick to pull back from these girls. I'd never really wanted to open up very much. And it all came from like a deep place of insecurity and scarcity, like worrying that if I acted the way that God created me to act, like a normal, loving man, that these girls would reject me or they would leave. And that advice and that way of dating and living could not be worse. for a man in any relationship, especially if you call yourself a Christian. I remember like trying out all these stupid strategies with girls that were actually higher quality and it just failing time after time. I would be like taking 8 to 10 hours to respond to a text. I'd be, inviting him to go out and do something and then like seconds before or hours before, like making up some excuse as to why I couldn't go because that's what Casey Zander told me to do. Not committing, not telling them how I actually felt about them. And then them just feeling like,
what's wrong with this dude?
Because they were actually raised properly. Like they had a good dad. They love Jesus. They actually understand how a man should carry himself in a relationship. And I wasn't doing any of that. I was acting like a douchebag. And so these girls would just like stop responding to me or stop wanting to hang out with me or telling me that they didn't want to continue a relationship with me. And I was like,
what? Dude, Casey Zander said that this is exactly what I was supposed to do. Why isn't this working? Hamza said if I don't respond to her text or if I pretend to be aloof, that she's going to be more attracted to me. Why isn't this working?
And what I didn't realize at the time and what I need you to realize is that all of those cringy, goofy tactics that these goons try and shove down your throat, all that does is it attracts very low quality, broken, damaged women, right? The girls that you would meet on Tinder or at a bar, or girls that have their butt all over social media and they didn't have a good dad growing up and they're always looking for attention and validation from men. Those are the kinds of women that all of these cringy red pill tactics would actually work on, because you're broken, she's broken, and you're using all these tactics of manipulation to get her to obsess over you. It's wrong. And if you call yourself a Christian, you cannot be relying on all this BS advice in your relationships going forward. It's not going to work. I promise you. If you meet a girl that actually loves Jesus and had a good dad and has a good relationship with her family and knows her worth, and she's secure in herself, and she knows how you should treat her, and you're not doing that, she's gonna leave. She's gonna cut you off. She's gonna be like,
what the hell is wrong with this dude?
Little does she know you're binging 10 hours of Andrew Tate every single day, and that's what's wrong with you. That's why you're acting like an idiot. It's a problem, and a lot of guys are falling into this trap because there's not a lot of Christians that make valuable content on social media that's relatable, especially in the realm of dating and relationships. You got all these goofy guys that they're just like super feminine and soft-spoken, and they don't give you really practical advice. It's just a lot of surface level stuff. And guys feel because these men are not masculine and they don't embody like masculine traits that they have to go to someone like Andrew Tate or Hamza to get their advice. Because these guys, at least they're men, like at least they act like men. So it makes sense, but you can't make that mistake, dude. I promise you it's not gonna work. You're gonna try all the tactics and all the pretending that you're too busy to text him back and asking him out on a date, but then backing out of it and thinking that that's gonna work. It's not gonna work. Trust me, bro. Instead, you need to surround yourself with men that are already where you want to be in terms of having a relationship and having a family. You need to go find a guy in your church who's been walking with Jesus for 10 or 15 or 20 years, who's been married for 10 or 20 or 30 years. Right? Think about how much wisdom and how much practical advice that guy could give you that would actually align with God's word, that would actually help you to have a godly relationship. Think about the wisdom that guy would be able to tell you. He's not going to tell you,
oh, dude, hang out with her once a week and always pretend that you're too busy to text her back.
And all that BS. He's going to tell you, dude, whenever I met my wife, I wanted to spend every second with her. I loved her. I couldn't get enough of her. And every single time we would hang out, we were talking about Jesus and our faith and deepening our relationship with one another. And I felt like I could be honest with her and she wouldn't run away. That's the kind of guy that you want to be getting advice from. And he has the relationship experience to actually back it up. Hamza, Tate, Justin Waller, all these guys, they don't even have real relationships. They just go and bang all these girls and they're like,
oh, dude, I'm focused on God and I'm trying to, not be a degenerate.
But then they're sleeping with women multiple times a week. That is not going to get you where you want to be. That's going to put you in a spot exactly where they are, where they're still not fulfilled and they still don't know the truth. Right? Jesus Christ is Lord. Hate to break it to any of you red pill guys. All the hedonism and just trying to live your life for yourself and being arrogant and trying to serve yourself and always focusing on you is not going to get you where God would want you to be. God created you for so much more. And he's not going to feel confident in bringing a woman into your life and connecting you two together if you're still taking advice from all these goons on social media. Instead of watching Andrew Tate, you need to open up your Bible. You need to see what God tells you about relationships and how to become the man that he's created you to be. And I promise you, if you take action on that, not only will it transform your life, it'll also put you in a position to transform the life of the woman that God brings into your life so that you guys can actually honor God in your relationship and set your future marriage and your future family up for success. There's a book that I want to shout out in this video that has given me a ton of wisdom and really changed my perspective on dating, and that is Single, Dating, Engaged, and Married by Ben Stewart. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description if you want to pick up that book. It is absolute fire. Check it out. I promise you it'll change your perspective as well, and it'll set you up for a marriage and a relationship that actually honors the Lord. If you want to learn more about how to date as a godly man, click on this video. I love you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.